Also, Forrest, welcome to the chat. I don't know if you can give more of an explanation. Obviously, we're playing the new public beta here. Could you just explain in your own words what's been added to it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think everybody's already seen the anonymous votes. All the votes come in gray. That I don't know. I feel like it's a little thing, but it like sort of mixes things up a little bit. And then people have been complaining about taskbar reads, and so just something to like trying to feel out different ways of making that better. Like it's definitely like sort of a balance fix, and so it almost leans into like maybe this should just be like a permanent thing, but just like tossing out a couple options to like see what sticks, kind of. And then people have also been sort of abusing medbay scans, even in like yeah. And so queuing up, this basically just makes it so that medbay still, like my phrasing in the changelog I shared is like kind of bad, where it says it appears less frequently. That's not quite true. It just limits the max number of medbay scans there can be in a game, so you can't get like the whole crew to queue after each other. We might look into some other tweaks on that.
In one of the initial things for Among Us 2, you mentioned about having bigger lobbies and whatnot. Is that something that will come to Among Us now, or is that sort of being...
Yeah, all the stuff that we wanted to put into Among Us 2 is going to go into Among Us 1 at some point. So like this fourth map is bigger than Polis. So the idea would be that eventually you can play it with 15 or whatever players.
Oh, because somebody asked, would there ever be a possibility of adding 2 floors?
Sorry, what did you say?
Adding 2 floors to a map. For example, you take Skeld and add a second floor of it to make it to the size of 15, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, I've thought about that for if and when we add, or I guess when we add bigger lobbies, updating the smaller maps to allow those maps to still work for that many players, and adding a floor would be the simplest way. We would just have to figure out how it would look, and like you'd probably end up like teleporting basically to a second level that's just in a different location.
Yeah, one of the things I did want to ask, when you are working together, do you follow a very strict workflow, or are you kind of open about what you want to do at specific times?
Yeah, we've got a workflow. I mean, it's usually pretty back and forth. I think at this point, because I'm doing a lot of business stuff, and we're getting help, but like setting up that help is also work. So I'm doing a lot of that stuff, and I haven't been able to get a lot of programming in. So and there's a big change that needs to happen in the game in order to basically support a fourth map, because we will absolutely break everybody who's playing on mobile if I just slap another map in there, because the game just straight up loads it at the beginning. And some people with like 1 gig of RAM phones, they already can't really play. It just breaks their phone. So like there's definitely stuff that needs to happen first, and I haven't had time to really do it. And so it's kind of just like everything's up in the air, but we're totally going to do it.
This was brought up last time, and I don't know if there's been much else about it, but is there any more thoughts on like an additional role over crewmate and imposter?
Yeah, it'll probably be like a very late addition. Like, I don't think it would come before the new map or anything, but we're looking into it for sure.
But it's something that's being thought about.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
and we kind of had to like backtrack after we exploded and make sure we're all stable before we start adding a lot of new cool stuff.
Are you going to be able in streamer modes, for example, covering the code in second, are you able to do like in viewing games, so an 11 person can join just to purely view and record the footage?
The spectating sounds really like that would be a big thing to add. I don't know how difficult that would be. I'd have to talk to Forte about it.
Okay.
But the streamer mode should be pretty easy. I don't understand the concept of hiding the code, because then, like, how do you know the code?
It's more because when you're on
like you could have a toggle option.
I think the idea behind the code is that you see it when you make the game, you keep it hidden, then you toggle it off, and then every time you replay, it's just completely off.
I did think about having it just say code, and then you click on it, and it copies the code to your clipboard, and then you can just paste it wherever you need to paste it.
That would be pretty good.
That'd be perfect.
Because these updates that are coming out are on the beta and whatnot. Once everything is fully done, are they also coming to the mobile version of the game?
Yeah, of course.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure.
Shake out issues. Like, I don't know if you noticed, the skip vote color is not grayscale, so that's something that got missed.
Hey, so Puff, I had a question. So obviously, he's made the announcement about one of the new maps having parts of Henry Stickmin in it. Is that something you're designing with Amy? Are you taking lead on that, or how's that going to work?
I'm just taking lead. Amy's been doing merch, like pretty just all merch all the time. So I'm just going forward on designing the map. I think once she's freed up, I'll bring her in to help with some of the art for it. But I'll be taking the lead.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, does that excite you? Obviously, with the background of the game, is that something that you really were keen to do?
Yeah, I wanted to do it in tandem with the release of Henry, but I'm but one man.
How is it for you at the moment, Puff? Is it still mental, like with just?
Yeah, it's a lot right now, but I think we're starting to finally stabilize. We're starting to figure things out.
So, Puff, do you speak Swedish at all?
Yeah, I'm fluent.
Oh, that's cool.
Du pratar svenska också då, eller?
Ja, nu kan vi snacka skit om dem utan att de fattar.
Nice.
Vi fnissar lite, säger lite kajf och lite rob.
Excuse me?
I had one of the best suggestions ever here, Puffballs, right? And people probably not agree with me. Somebody said to me, what you should do is imposters should be able to kill people and drag them into vents and hide them. And then the crewmate should be allowed to look in events to find bodies as well.
Yeah, but you wait until you're a crewmate and you go to look in an event, and then someone emergencies are like, they went to vent.
Yeah, that's all part of the fun, isn't it?
The more mind games, the better.
I do like that interacting with vents, or having the crewmates interact with vents to make them less of a one-stop giveaway could be interesting.
One of the things I did want to ask is obviously with the increased popularity of the game, you've probably seen yourself that there is a lot more third-party Discords becoming available, Twitter accounts all sort of try to claim to be official. Is that something you're okay with, or is that something you're going to approach these people about?
Yeah, we have some, issues with that, just because some of those servers are they don't like to make it clear that they're not official.
Yeah.
So people join them thinking that they're our server, but they're not.
I suppose the frustration for a lot of people is: are you still maxed out on your account?
Yeah, we weren't prepared for the amount of people we got, so we're trying to get more mods situated before we unlock. Because we have a connection in Discord that, I don't know if you guys saw, they tweeted a thing of when Among Us released and their members, so they have benefited from Among Us just as much as we have, so they're working with us to try and make things better for everyone.
So with the updates and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
is it mainly new levels, or are you planning on adding some sort of game mode?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another thing that we want to do, more game modes. There's just so many earlier parts that we have to get through. We have to get through adding accounts. We have to get through fixing there was another thing I forgot off the top of my head, but game modes are definitely something we'd like to do. And depending on how it meshes in with other stuff, it can come kind of whenever, I think.
Have you actually planned out the map yet? The new one? Have you got any rough ideas of it yet? Have you sketched it, or?
Yeah, I've got 4 rooms drawn, and I've got the layout kind of sketched out. There's a few new ideas, new features, but it's going to be a thing that we have to play test to make sure it actually is good and fun.
How's the sort of development going of stopping from hacks and cheating and whatnot?
Oof. Yeah, that's a really hard one. It falls onto Forte again, and I think it requires us to rewrite the netcode to make stuff more server authenticated, or whatever it's called. And since it wasn't built like that from the beginning, it's going to be a lot.
So it's one of the harder updates to do, essentially.
Yeah, and I talked to him briefly about it, and it's so intertwined with other things that you can't really just only do that. You have to bring other stuff up with it, so it's not just it's not an easy fix. But I can see it getting worse every day, and it makes me sad.
Why the name Innersloth?
So, truth be told, it was from a random name generator. We were just like clicking through, and then that one it resonated with me because it's like the inside of you is sloth, lazy, tired, which I feel often, very tired and unmotivated. But on the outside, you're like, I want to get this done. So that's kind of how it feels to me.
See, here's a thing I was curious about. Do you think you'll ever allow like Steam Workshop content to be applied to Among Us?
It's an interesting idea. I don't know how easy it will be to implement, and I'm scared to moderate that kind of stuff.
So
Yeah, I don't want a bunch of dicks to show up. They were very true in the Twitch thing when they talked about time to penis. That's a very true thing. Anytime you have custom things, a penis will show up.
I've got a question about Mira when it comes to medbay. But like, you know how all 10 of you start on the landing pads? And that means that all 10 of you get to see who's verified. Yeah. Would a balance change? I don't know how hard it would be, but if you just move medbay somewhere else.
Oh, that would be a hard change. You'd have to actually redraw the map. The idea of splitting the players up more, or like moving the initial spawn so that just like natural player behavior isn't to flock through, these like insta confirms. It's interesting, at least. I don't want to like confirm it or anything, because that's also a decent amount of work. But I think that's the best idea I've heard so far, is like just split players up more frequently.
Are you going to let the ghosts ever do anything? Like somebody said that is an idea of, can you make the ghost haunt the person that killed them? Like you can actually see the ghost of the person, if you know what I mean, just to wind them up.
We do want to make being ghosts more interesting. We got some ideas, but it's hard to know how it'll affect balance. I think that's the main thing. So we'll just have to test stuff and see what works.
I think in that you really summed up really well with the concept of obviously it sucks dying first, and try to give the person that dies first that little bit more gameplay, which will be interesting to see where that goes, because it is the worst thing to happen, as Stan can probably agree.
Have you guys been planning on adding like imposter chat at some point?
Not really.
Yeah, we usually avoid it because part of it basically would be really strong, and part of the fun is just like sort of no one's able to communicate. Yeah.
Also, if you're like walking around and stopping and typing, it's a pretty big visual cue.
Are we able to have it so we can change map and number of imposters in the lobby?
Yeah, it's on the docket.
Yeah.
It's just the way the servers were built. Like when you pick the servers, they have to show that information, and so we have to rework that part of the code, which is a little bit.
How hard is it to put pets in?
Not that hard.
It's not that hard. It's mostly like animation and making sure the designs are good.
And is there going to be more?
Yeah.
What have you got in mind, Stan?
No, I got nothing in mind. I just love the pet.
Bread pet.
You know? I love my boys.
Bread pet.
Is there a
rock?
So
it doesn't move.
One of the previous updates as well. You can have one of your kids on your head. Is there a way to get a third kid as a suit costume?
Like I saw concept art of that where they were in like a little baby carrier on the chest. Yeah, I kind of really like that.
Was that a big decision to cancel Among Us 2 and continue with Among Us 1? Was it like, because the last time obviously we talked, it was certain that it was happening, but
yeah, we had a meeting with the devs, and we were just weighed the pros and the cons and saw where everyone felt, or how everyone felt, and where everyone was at. It's definitely the harder option, at least for Forte, to go back into the code and fix it up.
Someone was wondering, I'm just going to read the question out. So they had a mirror version of one map for a while during 1st of April. Are they going to keep doing, quote, event stuff?
Yeah, I think we want to do more of that stuff. It's another thing that takes a bunch of time, so we have to plan it out really well. But yeah, we always wanted to do that stuff, and I keep meaning to tweet out something like I keep forgetting how few people know what Delesk is, because everyone started playing after April 1st. So yeah, they don't know what Delesk is. Like Delex, it's hard to say.